The stage is set, the accommodations are in place, and finally, the time has come. 7 racers will be competing for the Show Me Slot Car World Championships this Friday. Tensions are high, drivers have been training for months, and... Whoa! What was that? I am having a few buddies over to race tonight, but it's not nearly that serious. In fact, some of them have never even raced slot cars before, and the ones that have never seen a digital track. So, let's start this thing over. Hey Slotheads, young and old, near and far, experienced and beginner. I am super excited to have my very first casual race night on the new track here later tonight. In order to prepare for the coming race night, I've been working diligently on my track, my cars, my software, and of course, the food and beverage choices. I created a list of to-dos to help keep me focused this week, and I thought I would share some of my thoughts and preparations on getting ready for your race night with casual racers. I was bouncing ideas off Raul from Conquest Racing Club the other day, which, if you found my little channel, you probably already know Raul, but if somehow you don't, then please check out his stuff at this link up there. One thing Raul mentioned was that digital races on a home track will be won or lost by D-slots and pit stops. This got me thinking about how I can help reduce D-slots and issues with pitting when a brand new racer comes to the track. Now, using the pit lane feature successfully comes with practice, so making sure that there's plenty of time at the beginning of the night to practice pitting will reduce, but not eliminate, the issues there. At the beginning of the night, I'll set the fuel tank much lower than normal during the free practice, so that the racers are forced to pit a lot during this warm-up. I'm hoping that this will get them used to the process without taking up too much extra time. Reducing D-slots is a much more difficult task. While I don't want new racers to be discouraged when they D-slot 10 times on a single lap, I also do not want to make it so simple that racers can hold the throttle down and never D-slot. My plan to catch a happy medium somewhere in the middle is to reduce the speed of the cars to a point where they never D-slot, then bump it up 2 notches. We may increase the speed as the night progresses, but starting on easy mode will help get the drivers accustomed to the track and cars. Will this work? I have no idea, but I'll let you know after it's all said and done. The smoother everything goes on race night, the better it is for everyone. So I've been testing and then testing some more. Most of this testing has been focused on the features I'll be using in Smart Race. I've not used championships much in Smart Race, but I have heard that they can keep the night moving along at a quick pace as smooth as possible, especially on the race director, which, by coincidence, is me. I want to make it easier on myself. I have been testing out the championships by myself, with ghost cars, and with my little helper. The scenarios that have popped up during these tests have greatly increased my confidence in running a race this way. Run a few yourself. You might see that there's some unexpected quirks and things that happen that you might not have thought of. During these testings, I was messaging back and forth with Marty Ford from Two Line Speedway about how he runs his slot car nights. If you've not checked out his channel, please do so. You'll not regret it. There's another link up top for it. One of the features that he mentioned was assigning cars to controllers and rotating the drivers through the controllers. This essentially allows Smart Race to handle all of the controller assignments and not needing to reprogram a single car all night. Sounds pretty dang smooth to me. Now, fuel consumption and pit stop timing is something that could make or break the experience. So I've been testing every combo of speed versus fuel tank size. I'm not using the Smart Race time-based fuel settings because I really enjoy what the CU handles as realistic fuel use. However, changing the fuel tank size impacts the speed ramp of the cars as the tank empties, as well as how often you have to pit. I could share the numbers that I've landed on, but it's very specific to your individual track and length of the heats that you'll be running. Don't be afraid to tweak these over and over until you find the sweet spot. One of the most important things as a track owner is to get another race night schedule in the future. But in order to pull this off, it's important to preserve the cars and track, so minimal repairs are needed the next morning. To protect the track, I've simply made sure that it's super clean to begin with, the tables are nice and sturdy, and there are plenty of places, other than the table, to place your beverages while racing. Cars are a bit of a different story. The easiest thing to do is to remove all of the fragile parts. I've removed all of the mirrors and wings from the 4 cars that we'll be racing tonight. This will allow me not to stress about crashes, and the drivers not to panic if something does happen, because it will. Crash barriers are a feature of my track that I have tried many different implementations of. When I first got the starter set, I added the included Carrera guardrails. These were great, but tended to take paint off the cars that crashed into them. The next version was a DIY project that I saw Johnny Hobby and several others use. These were cheap and much more friendly to the car paint. However, a high-speed crash sometimes dislodged them, causing the next crash to go right through them. What I'm using now is the same poster board material, but I use double-sided foam tape to attach them to the track. These are surprisingly strong, with just enough give to not damage the cars. As you can see, I placed these dang things just about everywhere. But most importantly, where a car could potentially fly off the table. Just do whatever you can to protect the assets that make race night possible. The number one goal of all casual race nights should be to create new slot heads. So getting racers bit by the slot car bug is my focus tonight. Fortunately, everything we have talked about thus far will help us get 90% there, but there are 2 last things that can be done to help sink those hooks into racers. First, as the track owner, with hundreds of practice laps logged, try not to destroy the competition. Don't hold back, but try to keep it as competitive as possible. Okay, maybe sandbag at the beginning of the night, and then on the last heat, absolutely crush the souls of your competition. I kid. One last thing. Slow the night down. If things are not progressing as quickly as you would like, that's fine. If you only wind up racing 1 set of heats because practice took up a huge chunk of the night, that's okay. If you have to stop races to answer questions or give pointers, that is the best case scenario. And if people are lollygagging and chatting instead of pressuring each other to get to the next heat, let it happen. The whole point is to have some fun, give each other a hard time, and get more people to enjoy this great hobby that we are all fascinated with. Ha! You thought I was done. You thought I was putting up the boxes for you to click on and say subscribe here and watch this video next. Not exactly. I got one more thing to say. And that's really just thank you all so much for the support of this channel. I started as just kind of a goofing around and having some fun, and I'm having a blast making these videos, and it seems like a lot of you guys are enjoying them too. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing. But I'll see y'all next time. Don't worry, this really is the end screen. We'll see you next time.